Representative Jill Jordan and and welcome to Jordan's Journal. Today I have my special guest, Candy Suiso with Searider Production and Kamuela Enos from Makaha Organic Farms, and we're going to be talking about Kauhale today. Good afternoon. Good evening. Whatever time is being filmed.
Good morning.
But maybe just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and then let's talk about Kauhale.
Well, I'm Candy, and I grew up from Makaha, graduated from Waianae High School, went off to college, came back, started working at Waianae High School in 1986. I had to think about that. Yeah. And I've been there since, founded the program Searider Productions in 1993. And 18 years later, still there.
Yeah, and Searider is like...
And we've grown. Yes, from 85 students to about maybe 350. 2 full-time teachers to 8, 2 classrooms, no air conditioning, to 2 standalone buildings. We've not only gone from video production, but we're a fully integrated multimedia program, integrating video, journalism, online journalism, graphic design, graphic arts, and 2D, 3D animation.
Oh, and as well as some of the neighbor islands.
Yes, and we're the statewide creative media training trainers.
Wow.
So we've expanded our training into each of the main islands. So Kauai, Maui, and the Big Island, Hilo in particular.
Kamu.
Aloha, Kamuela Enos. Also, we representing Makaha Valley Road. Born and raised in Makaha, child of Eric Enos and Michelle Enos. My father was a founder, one of the founders of Koala Farms back in the 70s, and was raised in the community of Waianae. Went to Makaha Elementary, Waianae High School. Didn't quite make it out, but got my good enough diploma, and then got my master's. Eventually went back and got my bachelor's in Hawaiian Studies from Manoa, and my master's in Urban and Regional Planning from UH Manoa. I'm currently the Director of Social Enterprise at Kauhale, and proud and exuberant to be working back home in my community again.
Wow, great to have so much Makaha representation. Yes. Well, I mean, it's great to see. I mean, you both are products of the community. You're still in the community, and now you've created this great program. So can we talk a little bit about Kauhale and what it is, where did it formulate from, and where do we want to go with it?
Go ahead.
Well, Kauhale is the title of a merger that is going on between, it's in the process of deepening between Makaha Organic Farms and our college, our high school and intermediate programs that are under us, and the digital halau, the Searider Productions and Makaha Studios, as well as the Waianae Intermediate digital program. I think we're programs that have been, we're all community members, we know of each other, we know of the wonderful work that's been going on for years, and I think Searider and Makaha Studios and Ma'o and what we're doing, we're really starting to turn a corner and addressing some of the issues that really have for a long time troubled our community. Meaningful employment, economic development, college graduation rates, high school graduation rates, and a whole range of things. We're starting to make some inroads in addressing those issues. So we kind of put it together. I mean, for a long time, Searider had been receiving support, and basically had been invested in because of the great work that they're doing from the Kellogg Foundation. And Valerie Johnson, the Kellogg Foundation, one of the program officers there, has really been a staunch supporter of Waianae and to the Searider. And coming out and seeing the program, and also she got the chance to see what Ma'o was doing and started to realize there was a lot of synergy there. That may not be apparent at the surface, but some of the core things we were doing was, the rootedness in the community and the rootedness in this latent assets of the community that our youth held. As there's this desire from our kids to really feel comfortable working with their hand outdoors, so create pathways through farming. there's a desire for them to be storytellers is really strong, and so there was a pathway to engage them through digital media. And then we're both creating spaces where this interest was then applied, and then they could do real meaningful work in farming or in digital media that then became a vehicle to really get them proficient in their education. I mean, to help them with their academic development, both getting them through high school and then getting them into college and having them be successful at college. And then we're starting to see that the things that we're both doing, we're creating meaningful employment in the community. Makaha Studios was a fast-growing business which was basically comprised of a lot of young adults that went through Searider, got educated, you know, at the State University in California, or like the School of
the Art Institute
in California, came back and started their own business. So like, and Ma'o was starting to grow its own business, so expanding its business side. So the idea is not to just merge to create farmers that are going to be working in digital medias, or like, but it's more like, you know, to become a redevelopment corporation, if you will, that would, the things that is really important that, you know, Ma'o and the digital halal is doing is really creating these industries that have precedent in the traditional times when we didn't import anything. And I believe that we're kind of framing them like knowledge-based industries, and Aina-based, or Ike, or knowledge-based, or Aina, or land-based industries, which I honestly believe will be the underpinning of, you know, our emerging green economies in Hawaii. I mean, what Searider can do in a square footprint of like, I don't know how many 100 feet, they can make as much revenue as Ma'o can on 24 acres. But the footprint is small, the environmental impact is small, and they're not tied to import and export. They can instantaneously, you know, do things. That it can go from just not just digital media, but you know, graphic design to app development. So you create these almost a Silicon Valley of the Pacific in community like Waianae. On the other hand, you have a vibrant, the state's going to have to look at how do we grow more food. So creating a model of this vibrant, sustainable ag, food production kind of economy, and not just growing these businesses, but growing the workers concurrently and empowering them to grow it.
Forward,
So I think that in a nutshell is kind of the general gist. But Candy has been one of the big architects behind it, and she's, you know, in Kauhale, she holds the place of her organization, and the work that she's done has really laid the groundwork, because she's been doing this, you know, well before Ma'o began, when she was at Searider, and just starting this culture of success on our terms, but hitting their metrics, which we can then leverage to grow.
And what we want to do, on the other hand, is we want to follow the model that Ma'o has in place with their interns. And so what Kauhale has allowed us to do through the Kellogg grant is to really focus on this internship program. So we have interns right now that are at Makaha Studios or Searider Productions. They work at the school, work at the business, and they are getting their tuition paid for. Their give back is to come back and intern, and the same model that Ma'o has. We have, I believe, only 8 right now, whereas Ma'o has approximately 40, maybe 40.
College interns running the
program. And have been, so we want to model after take the success model after their internship program to grow ours. Because really, when you look at sustainability, we can't depend on the Department of Education to continue to support these types of programs. I mean, it just gets a little too expensive, and we have to generate our own income, empower and really encourage our own that have come out of our program to go on to college and to really come back into our community. The whole idea is to grow our own, to come back, to stay in the community, and that's how we're going to build community. You know, if we keep losing the best and the brightest from our community,
we're just the producers of the best
shame
and
on us,
and they go somewhere else. So like you mentioned Makaha Studios, so they actually arised out of
from Searider Productions. So we saw the need to create a for-profit arm of Searider Productions, because again, we are a school and we're not a business, even though we do take on business projects to support what we do. We just couldn't take everything that was offered to us. We just didn't have the time. We're an educational institution first and foremost. But what a lot of our graduates did is they went out and they just, you know, as Kamu said earlier, they came back from college. They all graduated in film, and they, since 2005, created the for-profit. So a lot of the business now goes to Makaha Studios.
Wow.
And the beauty of that also is that it gives a place for our college interns to go and work.
So I guess this kind of blossomed out of, you know, like a Searider program, meaning you instilled so much into these youth that even though they had gone on to higher education, maybe on to work away, something drew them back.
They're from the community. They love Waianae. They want to be in the community. We need to create these opportunities for them, and that's the great thing about having Makaha Studios and Ma'o Organic Farms is we grow our own, and they go out and we educate them. We really feel, you know, through Kauhale that we need to support every step of the way while they are in college. We need to make sure that they graduate. They go on for their master's and even their doctorate, but that they come back to us and that
there's a place to come back to.
Yeah,
and they want to. If you speak to any of our interns, they're doing it because, yes, they're getting their tuition paid for. For many, they wouldn't be able to go to college if they didn't have this tuition paid for. They also get a stipend, but they get to work where they want to be.
And they're working in industries that they want to be in.
Yes.
You know, and
they're doing filmmaking, they're doing writing, they're doing organic farming. They're learning the business side of both farming and digital media. I think the most important thing is we're growing leaders. We have to really look out for our, you know, now it's my grandchildren's future. You know, Kamu has a little 3-year-old, and you know, we want to have great things in place by the time they are our age. You know, we have to pass the torch of leadership.
Eventually,
and this is who we are grooming. You know, we're in a sense we're creating leaders for the future.
We're just not creating jobs. We're just not creating some sort of certificate or degree.
We're
actually grooming.
We're empowering these youth
individuals to become
to take the lead.
Our next.
The word Kauhale. The reason why it was chosen is Kauhale refers to the extended family unit. They're in traditional land use and schemas. You know, each ahupua'a was completely self-sufficient. Not only was the island self-sufficient, each watershed, valley was completely self-sufficient. You didn't trade for necessities. If you did, there was a sign of weakness and you opened yourself up to be attacked. So you had to be completely self-sufficient. And the Kauhale was the series of family units that existed within this watershed that allowed it to be self-sufficient. Your farming, your fishermen, these different family systems. And you know, that we're taking that notion and applying it in a 21st century context. And it's like, you know, and the reason why the young adults resonates with them to, like we said, to work the land or to do storytelling is because there's a tradition of mo'olelo and mahi'ai that may be buried under layers of recently learned poverty, but you know, it's there. And our job is to create this space where we empower them to take the trash, pala off of them, and to them realize their own asset, and for them their own personal asset, and to have a system in place that sets up parameters and sets in place all these things that they have to do to be there, but are ostensibly there to empower them. And once they realize that, give them the freedom to author their own destiny. And when you do that, it not just creates leaders, because anyone can quote unquote lead. You can lead a person off a cliff. I think it's instilling in them the sense of kuleana, kuleana-based leadership, this responsibility to yourself, to your peers, and to that place, the land that sustains you concurrently.
That's deep. I mean, you're providing all the mechanisms for them to succeed, and for them to be able to lead and become these strong individuals. We're
providing them the explicit directive that you have to run this program. You know, we create the space, and at the internships we're able to develop at Ma'o has matured to the point where our interns who receiving a full tuition waiver, 40 interns were sitting in college from Waianae as organic farmers. They're empowered to run the entire business operation. They're producing $12,000 to $13,000 a week while maintaining a 2.0 in college, being the first in many of them the first in their family to do so. So no, they're creating this sense of empowerment that's not just being told you're powerful, but there's metrics of success that we can point to quantitatively and qualitatively. Quantitatively, you're producing 13 tons of, for 3 tons or 4 tons of food a week, $13,000 a week. That, and you're getting your whole group, the collective internship is maintaining a 2.5 GPA. And the qualitative is you have Michelle Obama come out to the program and a firm driving into Waianae, shutting down the roads to see what's going on in Kauhale, the digital media kids and the farming kids together. And those types of affirmations, what they do is they help to unlearn a lot of the negative things that people may tell them that they hold and they self-identify with, and then relearn that, you know, I'm a child of this community, and I'll behave in that way like the kupuna told us to. And I think that's where we draw our leadership from. It's very explicit where our leadership is coming from.
So I mean, it's not like you go out there and pick the best and the brightest. I mean, these kids choose
we
you.
are open
they
to anybody who wants to be a part of both of our programs.
The key question is, what is your sense of responsibility to your community? And that's where we work from.
You know, and I'm sure you build in mechanisms that if they fall off, you know, we can dust you back off and provide that opportunity again.
You know, and that's part of the learning. You know, not everyone, if you fall off, if you need the help, we have resources, we have support for you. And a lot of it is each other. You know, the peers, mentoring peers, they're the ones that support each other the most. As adults, we just become facilitators and we just say, you know, it's up, you pick each other up, you counsel each other, you know, you encourage each other, and they do such a great job. And I think a lot of it is just our leadership. We've grown up both, and a lot of it I think is growing up in Makaha, well, the whole Waianae coast is we've had great leaders and mentors in our life. My mother, for one, his father and his mother, our teachers, you know, we've had great teachers, we've had bad teachers, but we've had the few good teachers really made an impact. The leaders in our community that have come before us that are no longer with us are still continue to guide us. We need to continue their work.
You know, and in this place, that is where we educate, you know, and then providing again this space for these youth to kind of take it upon themselves to say, hey, I can do almost anything. And then you provide this opportunity, and then you're also providing them educational opportunities. Not to say I'm coming out of an educational institution with a debt. It's already been paid for. You know, you just have to do your part and succeed. And then, you know, you will guide yourself and become the new entrepreneurs and the new leaders of our community. Man, this is pretty awesome.
And I think part of it too is that they recognize that they're building while they're passing through. You're not just you cannot join the programs in Kauhale and be a passive participant. You have to be actively lending your own individual vision to the collective, and you will step through having been able to point back, that's my legacy. These are the things. And when you instill that level of, you know, responsibility and ownership to a program, when they graduate, even if they never come back to Waianae, which, you know, is an option, but we're building the industries for them to come back to. But in this, if they want to spend time, no matter where they go, they will bring that with them. And they will be an ambassador for the community, because frankly, most people know Waianae is what they see in the first 5 minutes of every newscast.
That's true.
And I think that for us to be able to control our food production and to control our narrative is part of not only how we redefine ourselves, but how other people define us. And you know, the fact that we're able to reach really national figures, and they're helping us collectively to redefine what Waianae is thought of, is strategic part of why we do what we do.
And these were two very successful programs. And it's interesting how Seariders saw the ma'o program and what they were doing with their interns, and then saying, hey,
we saw the Searider
yeah.
production stuff, and what they're doing, 99% graduation rate through their academy. I mean, that's kind of the co-learning. Like, we're trying to help them design these college internships, and they're helping us redesign our high school program to make sure that the feeder into Ma'o from the high school is hitting the spaces are created within this DOE system that are vibrant learning areas that maximize a whole range of different things, that create spaces where kids can come in and feel like it's okay to learn at Waianae High School. It's not like, when I went there, like, you put your head down if you were smart, or you just wore it with pride. I didn't have that wherewithal to be that guy. So but I think that, we really look to Searider, not just to help us with on the Ma'o side, but for Searider to help the rest of the state to create these learning spaces, because under Auntie Candy's leadership, that's what has occurred. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it is. I mean, she's created some levels that unbelievable.
Well, it's
really
a teamwork.
It is.
It
truly is.
We've worked with Ma'o and the leadership there for many, many years, and it's always been discussing, okay, there's got to be a way for us to partner. There's got to be a way for us to merge, because people say, okay, well, you guys are digital media and you're organic farming. What do you have in common? But we have everything in common. And once we, came up with that narrative, and a grant, luckily for us, the grant, it allowed us to focus. How are we going to focus? And that really is creating leaders for the next generation, and it's going to take a while. We know it's going to take a while, but we've got to start somewhere. And the message for our kids is, are you making a difference when you go to sleep every night? You put your head down at the table. What did you do to make a difference in someone's life or in your community's life, or what are you going to continue to do? And I think that's what we are.
And it's really important to know that Candy won't say it, but Searider Productions is one of the premier digital media programs in the nation. I mean, they've won the Robert F. Kennedy Award for Journalism twice. And I think that these types of successes are really important to acknowledge for our youth, because then it becomes like a place for them to participate in something that insulates them. At first insulates them from all the negativity they face, but then after they pass through, empowers them to go out and to have the skills to directly do something. If there's a sense of righteous anger sometimes that our interns have, but that's great because we're giving them the tools to feel the change.
And how to channel that, and it gives them the space to kind of mold themselves to become very powerful individuals.
Powerful and accountable.
That's right.
Power without accountability, I think, working at the ledge, it's a very dangerous thing. So it's like holding them accountable within the context of power. Power in service of something.
Not
responsible
just power. Accountability.
Responsible. I mean, I think as each program molds and shapes, you start to see this, wow, we've become a lot bigger than what we
can do so much more. Individually, we did a lot, but together now we can do more. And this is just the start.
I can imagine. This is going to be unbelievable.
And we look at this as a movement. We've always said what we're doing, the merger and the relationship, it's a movement. We're starting a movement. We talk about the 60s and the 70s. I'm a product of that. This is the same kind of movement in a different way. Keeping it positive and focusing on your community to really make a difference.
To figure out,
to make an impact, to change community.
How do you let somebody understand what their real purpose or their why is, and then why do you want to do this, and then where do you want to go with this? I mean, that is like solid. It's always been resonating out there, but now to see something really focusing on that and providing these channels for youth, and then the youth being part of that. It's just not adults saying, "Hey, this is
open the youth."
It's the youth actually shaping this, and like
peer mentoring is a key
being
piece.
A part of this.
Most of the learning and most of the transformation happens because through these internships you have people that are 1 or 2 years older than the incoming internship, teaching them directly how to do the enterprise part of it, and then concurrently teaching them how to navigate college. And it's not a bunch of adults they're telling them, well, this is like, it's their peers who they may have remembered when they're in high school, like, that guy's going to college.
I can go too,
Well, I mean, I think that, and then being surrounded by people from the community who then went, so we train the trainers. And that way, it's about programmatic sustainability.
Yeah, it's not like somebody outside coming in and saying, this is what you can do and you can succeed if you do this. No, it's like,
we were there.
You're from here.
We once sat in their very seats, and we grew up like that. Our story is their story.
Yeah.
So.
It's important to set up a model that we can bequeath. But it's also a model that is dynamic and adaptable, that is not rigid, that it says you're only locked into doing this. And that's why it's important for us to be entrepreneurial and, you know, rooted in the sense of having a moral compass attached to it at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I was so unique about our community. Is because we always resonate with that, you know. It's us.
Yeah.
And we show by example.
The good thing about being poor, there's no sense of fallacy that you did anything by yourself. You have to recognize.
You make do with what you have.
Yeah, you make do with what you got.
You have to depend on others.
Yeah,
it's a reality of life.
It is. It's the reality of it. But that's what's creating so much success. And I guess that's why when people say, it's not going to last, but they don't understand it.
I'm fine if they say that.
Yeah, I'm like, keep going. You just watch us, you know, and
actions speak louder than words.
They
I think where we had a good thing about being on the coast is we're so far. Yeah. But we really feel actions speak louder than words. You could say you're doing one thing, but to do it, that's so strong.
As long as our emphasis is ensuring that the metrics of success are transparent.
You're doing it right.
Yeah. Wow,
this sounds doing it right.
This sounds really exciting.
Yeah, this is just the start.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. I can see where we can just so many other components can come in here and entrepreneurship coming in. And
the goal is to not have outside best practices foisted on community, but to be the best practice itself.
Us be the best practice.
And that's how we can help the legislators.
And show them again by example.
There's great things going out on there. And I'd like to thank you both for coming and for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work and representing us. I know it's not easy, but
no. Again, that's what I said. You know, we're all a product of our community, all of us. You know, I came into the community as a child, and that community has molded and shaped me. You know, and that's how I feel strongly about coming back, and we need to do this. How do we keep supporting each other and moving it forward for our future generations? That's what it's all about. So
our grandchildren will judge us by
us. For our grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren.
They'll judge what we've done. That will be our success. That will be. So thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. Aloha. Thank you for joining us today, and we shall see you soon.